What's good, world? It's your boy Mastermind Man, and this is a special episode. This is a full review of Forbidden West. I told y'all I was gonna come back in here and do it, man. And listen, this game is amazing. I'll be displaying some video here on the screen for the anchor people on the podcast end. Be sure to follow me on YouTube, Mastermind RGTV, and for the people on YouTube that's not familiar with the podcast. Podcast is Real Gamer on all platforms. But let's jump right into it, man. Listen, this is definitely game of the year. I will have to throw this. This is gonna have to be in the category of PlayStation Game of the Year, and this gonna be in there, man. So I'm gonna be breaking down graphics, control, gameplay, story, mechanics, and features outside the story modes, just basically like little side quests or whatnot. My opinion and thoughts on those. And here in the backdrop, I got a little video I was playing. I be broadcasting it pretty much every time I play it, tracking the story and everything. And for those that don't know, I mostly review the game anyway when I'm playing the game, giving you like a thoroughly breakdown. But this is just a little bit more details, just a little bit. But be sure to follow me on Twitch and all platforms at Master23Mind so you can see me play any of these games that I review and also be talking about and just be jumping into. So look, I'm gonna play a little video. This is me here on Twitch. I was 20-minute play with my kid. And so first of all, let's jump right into graphics. The first thing you notice about the graphics, even on the PS4 Pro, the graphics, the detail. I'm playing on PS5 right now, but the details in the area, and like you can see stuff flying around, things in the grass. Like you hear the footsteps crashing up against the leaves. Like the detail in the lighting in the game. Like the graphics is phenomenal. I mean, hands down phenomenal. So off the rip, I gave the graphics a 10 out of 10. This is by far the best looking game right now on the PlayStation 5. And I was even shocked that it even looked this good. It even looked good on the PS4 Pro. I would have to also say this is also one of probably the best looking game even on the PS4. So it's actually really cool to still see these new next generation games playing on something like the PS4. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool and phenomenal for them to even have the graphics that way. Now you do notice a difference. I'm gonna pause it for a little bit right here. For one thing, the way like the leaves and stuff moves in the grass, you notice that when you're playing it on the PS5. But playing it on the PS4, it does those things, but you really notice the difference playing the 4 and the 5. You know what I'm saying? And those were one of the things I kind of noticed playing. But overall, on both consoles, the graphics is amazing. 10 out of 10. I'm going to jump right into Control, and I'm going to be kind of jumping all over the place a little bit. Now, Control, see, this is the thing. On the first game, I had a bit of a problem with the controller on the first sequel of the game. And I was like, yo, I hope they fix some of this stuff. The controls are better than the first one. So I had a couple control issues when I first got into it. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty cool. But as I started to play, it was like, yo, wait a minute now. Like these controls, I'm still not, probably. And you talking to a person that's coming off playing Call of Duty, different type of games, all type of games or whatever, in the controls. Like I'm real funny about the controls or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a little time to kind of warm up to, but the controls are definitely better than the first segment of the game. I gave the controls a 7 out of 10. And the reason is because you have so much stuff to use on the game, like your weapons. Let's see, can we pause it and see some type of the weapon view? Like when you're throwing the rocks or laying down your traps or doing the special moves or changing out the bow and arrow, different things in the control. I'm actually on camera, so show you here on the control. Different things on the control is like, you tend to forget that you have some of these items because you have to hold L1 or R1 and press down and do this. It's a little like, I don't really want to do all that stuff. It need to just be a simple control to where, you know what I'm saying, or even if they would have utilized like voice connection, like now with the PlayStation new update that just dropped, they got like voice commandments or whatever. Previously on the main podcast, I talked about using artificial intelligence and using like the same technology that we have in our phones, like Hey Siri and all these things. We can, if they put that into the gaming, like the actual games themselves, and let's say we can say, hey, give me my third weapon that's in my inventory versus pressing on it. Utilizing type of technology like that, artificial intelligence in a game will be so much better. And I think it'll work for a game like Forbidden West. So that's the reason I kind of gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's so much stuff to press and use in the game, but it's like, yo, I forgot I had that because we're not trying to, you know what I'm saying? So 7 out of 10 for the control. They could have did a little bit better, but it's not bad. But a lot of times when you're playing the game and enjoying the game so much, you're not going to even really be paying attention to the control for real. So moving on, going to gameplay. Now, as you see, the gameplay is phenomenal. I gave the gameplay a 9 out of 10. Now, giving the gameplay a 9 out of 10 for the mere fact is I would have gave it a 10 out of 10, but it's just one of those things to where it's like, okay, we're fighting these dinosaurs, robot dinosaurs. We're following the main mission. We're doing side quest missions. We're doing these different things. But I feel like the world need a little bit more stuff to do because the worlds are beautiful. We need more than just the dinosaurs to fight. More than just something that's not attached to the side quest. More than something that's not just attached to the single player, main story quest or whatnot. And I feel like if they would have added something else in, like some random things in the world, perfect example, Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda has so many things in the world to do, other than you're just going to the castle to go save the princess type deal or whatever. They got so many side quests and even stuff that's not even really pertaining to other side quests or even the main genre of the story. They have these different things inside of the world of the game. And I feel like Forbidden West could have done that because this already gives the feel of like a Legend of Zelda for PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? I love this game so much because it just puts it in a whole perspective and gameplay of field like Legend of Zelda. And I love Legend of Zelda. So, but the thing I always had with Legend of Zelda was, the graphics is not so good. But now playing a game like Forbidden West, open world, get to climb now, like that's dope. And going back to controller real fast, the climbing mechanics on the controller is a little off sometimes. But going back to my ideal of the Legend of Zelda and different features that they could have added into this game that could have improved the gameplay. So that's the only reason I kind of really gave it a 9 out of 10. But overall, I probably would have gave it a 10 out of 10, but we need a little bit more to do than the side quest and the main story. Moving on, talking about story. Now, I gave the story an 8 out of 10. The reason I gave the story an 8 out of 10 is the mere fact that, playing in a vast world like this and going through so much stuff in the game, you tend to kind of get lost on playing the main story. And it's so much dialogue in the game to where it need to be a movie or a TV show, honestly. So with with so much dialogue and overwhelming of the world in an empty, well, I can't really say empty world, but world of empty things you can't really do anything with, that, ties into the whole story going down because you're not going to really want to sit aside and listen to so much of the dialogue, but be so anxious to get out there in the real world and start doing stuff in the game. And you kind of forget that, I'm supposed to be going here to go do a main story. I had that same problem with the first segment of the game. So that's kind of why I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it was like, well, y'all didn't keep me so attached to the story. But just because I gave it an 8 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10, it's not necessarily meaning it's a bad thing. Because, like I said, it's a lot of games that has great stories, and you still manage to kind of flee away from the story, and you know what I'm saying, kind of forget about it, but still has great story. This has a great story, but so much dialogue, you tend to kind of get lost on, okay, who is who and what's going on again. Like you need like a refreshment from like day one almost. So it's a little, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But moving on to mechanics and features. I gave mechanics and features a 9 out of 10. Now, the reason I gave mechanics a 9 out of 10 is for the mere fact of I like the different mechanics and features that we have in the game. For us, the little thing you get to fly, yo, that's Legend of Zelda. The climbing mechanics, yo, that's Legend of Zelda. Uncharted, we get to climb now. On the first segment of the game, you know what I'm saying, it's like, damn, I wish you can climb. And for us, the fact we got a jump, we had jump on the first one, but some games don't allow you to jump. So, it's pretty cool to have these different features and different mechanics in the game. But I will say I gave it a 9 out of 10 because not all features and mechanics work how they should. Like, for example, right now I'm trying to climb up this ladder under the water, but I can't. That's kind of weird. And another feature to where when you're climbing things, the climbing is like it's not natural enough. But I feel like if they come out with, a Forbidden West 2 or whatever, like the third segment of the game, and keep them climbing mechanics, they'll have room to improve upon it. But first off, the climbing mechanics, you can tell it's some new mechanics in the game. It's like, yo, they could have done a better job, but I'm happy that they added it. Great climbing mechanics is one I still think is the number one is Uncharted. You just press X and he just climbing. And I feel like this tried to kind of give that off because when you first enter into, you started playing through the game and you start climbing things, it's like, it's pretty cool to have. It's a pretty cool feature, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, wait a minute, something is off about it. It still feel like it's new. Now, the glide process, when you have the little glider and you're gliding through the world, that's freaking amazing. It's a couple other features and mechanics that I can't think of right off the top, but that's what it was. That was my main reason of why I gave it a 9 out of 10. The other different mechanics and features for us, like the new weapons we got, pretty freaking amazing. But I wish we can hold more items like on the main thing, but I'm still kind of playing through the game, so I may need to upgrade some so I can hold more. But one thing I did like that they did was the stash. Anytime you pick up things now, it's automatically going to your stash. Like you don't have to go back and forth to your stash. That was annoying in the first one, you know what I'm saying? So, and in games, even like the Witchers or whatnot, you have to go back and forth to your stash, even though some things go to your stash, but this particular game, they capitalize on that. And man, it is so much appreciative because playing in this open world like this, and like I said, all there is to do is just kill the robot dinosaurs. But at the same time, it's like you see all this stuff that you can pick up, you just kind of by habit just gonna pick it up. At least when I'm playing through the game, I see some herbs or whatever. I'm already full in my pouch. I pick them up anyway, and it automatically go to my stash. Yo, I got probably about 5,000 stashed off in my stash or something. And different little things you can pick up, like even killing the animals or whatnot. Send it straight to my stash, even though I got enough. So, things like that is definitely great for the game to have. The graphics, look at that, man. I got that plant in the background, I got that in real life. But the details in this game and the graphics is freaking amazing. The face expressions, the way the hair moves, they still got the hair is better than the first one, but they still got a little hair errors in there. It looks kind of weird looking because a lot of times the hair is kind of dangling around. It's like it's not naturally dangling around, but it's kind of weird. And I love the fact that like when the background of the sceneries of the game, AI is actually doing different things and having its own little things. Like I've sat there and just kind of listened to the AI walk real slowly to them, and they're over there talking, they're over there interacting. Someone's working, someone doing this, but throughout time, like the kids are running and playing, but throughout time, it kind of if you follow them for a long time, they kind of get back to more like robotish feel, but it's still pretty dope to have an open world game like this and really get immersed into the world and see all of this stuff. And that I add that to the mechanics for us, the face mechanics and features and all that, because that's pretty freaking amazing. Also to graphics. Moving on, talking about the story mode and outside of the story mode. This is one of the things I want to discuss just a little bit. I kind of already touched on it for the story mode, but the side missions, you can kind of sometimes tell when you're doing a side mission and what's a main mission. A lot of times with the side missions, it's just, she'll get to looking all around and not really looking at the character per se, or, you know what I'm saying? You kind of tell. And some of these side missions would be like, what? You want me to do what? I don't even have the weapon to complete this side mission properly yet. So why? I don't know. So it's kind of weird sometimes. But also doing some of the side missions when you're in the middle of doing a main mission, you'll end up doing a side mission and you'll get completely lost and start doing 9 other side missions and then coming back to the story mode. That it's not, like I said, it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's just one of those things to where some of the side missions, they're really fun and they completely take you away from the from the main story. Now, in the first segment of the game, they had that too, but the side mission is one that's fun. So this one, Forbidden West, they capitalize onto where even outside of the story mode, you're still gonna have a good time on the side quest too. So that's pretty cool. One of the things is right here at this moment, I was getting ready to swim out to sea, and this is actually a side mission I think I was end up doing, but I was trying to swim somewhere and I couldn't go out that far. So it made me wonder. I don't think the map completely is fully open. That's the thing, and it's okay. But first impressions coming on buying the game, it's like, yo, I got all of this world open. I can just go and explore. Not quite. Right here, as you see, as I pull up my map, right over here to the left, you can't swim past that area. And once you get, I hope this is no spoiler alerts or anything, but once you get your particular device, which is the actual where you can stay underwater and swim, that thing is amazing. That's another feature or mechanic that's added to this game that we never had in the first one. So that's another cool thing. But once you get the device, you still can't swim to that area. So, it's just one of them things like, I really thought I can explore everywhere. You can't. Not quite. Even if you got all of the things required to cover your bases to go explore freely, you can't really. You still have to do certain things in the main story and side quests or whatever, mostly the main story to do. Like right here, I couldn't swim no farther. It looked like I was getting closer, but I couldn't swim no farther in the game. So because I like to explore. And then the big robot thingies that you have to climb up on, the long tails, what are they called? The long heads. Those guys are so much cool to kind of climb up on and do your thing. I like to chase them down so I can go in and have a lot of my stuff, my maps open up. Those that don't know, when I play Assassin's Creed, I love to go to the sink spots. I like to find all the sink spots first, mostly in Assassin's Creed, and then kind of begin getting into the world and playing the story mode or whatnot. And that's kind of what I tried to do with this one, with Forbidden West, but I wasn't able to quite do that. So I was a little let down by that, but it's all cool. Now, the underwater features for graphics under the water, all of that stuff, man, listen, man. There's no other game that gives you a truly underwater immerse type feel that looks like this. If you can find one that looks like this and feels like this, because playing it also on the controls, I know I gave it a 7 out of 10, but they're not all the way just bad. The haptic feedback plays a great role in this game. And for is when you're swimming and stuff, and the tide, the pressure and stuff, you can feel it in the controller. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, when you're fighting and stuff with the robots, you feel it in the control. So haptic feedback plays it plays a minimum part because now I'm kind of used to it. But if you're not used to it, if you're your first time playing on PS5, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna notice the difference. And it plays those little small things plays a big role in a game like this because by it being on old gen and current gen, you're gonna know, okay, these are the different key factors that makes this, you know what I'm saying, what it is. And you're gonna notice the difference playing it on the PS5 with haptic feedback. And with the underwater features and looking like that, beautiful, amazing. No other game looks or even is doing it like this. Legend of Zelda, I wish it can look like this in the future. I feel like Nintendo really need to be taking notes on games like this from PlayStation, and I feel like PlayStation has kind of took their notes from games like Legend of Zelda that's open world, and they can kind of, you know what I'm saying, create their own because this is it. Forbidden West is she I think of Eloy as like Link. You know what I'm saying? She's the girl version, and you know, it's not your typical story, save the princess type deal or save the king type deal or whatever. Is this game is an exclusive PlayStation, and this put the mark in the sand for this is how Legend of Zelda needs to look, or this is how I wish Legend of Zelda would look. And PlayStation is basically saying we have our own character, we have our own, you know, story mode and world to it, and we're gonna make our own. And you know, they did a great job with this game. Cause playing this game, I get the feel of I want to play Legend of Zelda now. But when I play Legend of Zelda, it's like, yo, Forbidden West is it. That's the PlayStation version of Legend of Zelda. I don't want to play Zelda anymore. I want to play Forbidden West because for one, the graphics. I mean, I still want to play my Legend of Zelda. Don't get it twisted. But I'm saying the graphics in this game is gorgeous. The climbing mechanics, you get to swim under the water. All these things add up to what makes this game a high quality game, and it's definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of those games overall. I have to give a 9.5 out of 10 overall. Probably overall 9.5. And the only reason I would say a 10 out of 10, but if I had to backtrack anything, it would be a 9 out of 5. I mean 9.5 out of 10. But the only reason this game is not perfect is the mere fact because of my opinion, it's the controllers. The controllers, and at times you tend to forget the weapons you get, and a lot of the great weapons you don't get until like the middle or the end of the game, which is sometimes cool. It all depends on your play style and how you like to play this game. But you know, it's not perfect, but it's so close to being perfect. That's the beauty of it. And I feel like if they come out with a DLC for this game, you know, it's gonna be one of those. I'll go ahead and get it. You know what I'm saying? And the story mode is pretty long. There's still things to do outside of the story mode. Like I said, you don't get tired of looking at a beautiful game like this, especially when you get to climbing up to the top of these mountain peaks. The view is amazing. So you don't really get tired of any of that. So with all that being said, it's like the game is so close to being perfect, but it's not. Like, look at that sunset. Look at that sunset. Like, magical, man. Magical. And like for one example, the sand and how the waves move in. The sand, for as you're walking through it, it actually leaves foot trails or whatnot. Your shadows the game is just mind blowing, man. Now, one of the things I did see that PlayStation kind of need to fix was for us like the motion blur a little bit. Even when you're playing on, I didn't even tap into that. I didn't even speak about the details as far as you can swap between frame rates and for graphics and performance. So speaking on the graphics first, for it's you can run it on 4K or whatnot, and it's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Even between fidelity mode and performance modes, that's the name of the two. Between those two, I'll run on either one of them. I'll run on either one of them because when you're fighting, the fighting is better in performance mode. So when you turn it on performance mode, and the fight is, your combat system, all that is cool on performance mode. You do see the difference when you're in combat mode on fidelity mode. There is a difference. But, man, to enjoy the game graphically, you have to go ahead and stay in fidelity mode. Because even though the motion blur is a little bit off on both, you definitely notice the motion blur on 4K mode. It's definitely there. But at the same time, it looks so good in fidelity mode. And even in performance mode, like I said, the comeback style is what you want to go to performance mode for because the frame rate is a lot more better, but the graphics still looks really good. So I was really impressed with either one of those settings, because my opinion, I've hold PlayStation to a very high standards. They it need to be 4K 120 hertz. That we got the power in the box. Why not do it, Jack? So I think it should be 4K 120 hertz. And if you're gonna take us down to something lower, then 4K 60 frames. We don't want no more 30 frames. We don't want 1080p. We don't want 1440p. Even though 1440p is a real popular thing that people is complain about that they want and is more voted for. But I say give us 4K 120 hertz, 4K 60 frames, and if you give us 1440p, it better be 1440p 120 hertz. Period. But either or, this game looks amazing on fidelity mode and performance mode. So pretty dope. I need to probably get into the settings and kind of adjust my controllers a little bit. I'll probably do that. But that's really all I got on my full review on Forbidden West. Like I said, be sure to follow me on Twitch at Master23Mind because I'm still playing this game. I was only going to do about 7 days and then come in and do the review. But I'm still going to be reviewing it as I play. So come check me out at Twitch, Master23Mind again. And I'm going to be adding some new stuff to this review pretty much as I play. Because every time I'm playing it, I'm always finding something new. And because I'm very passionate about games. So I'm finding something new in the game to talk about, or I'm playing through, like just taking my time, really immersed in the game. And the review don't stop here, folks. It just keep on going, and especially when I beat the game. I'm looking for a new game plus to see, we're going to talk more. We're going to talk more because I don't want to spoil anything because I haven't beat the game yet. So, and I'm like, new game plus with all of these weapons that you get later on in the game. This is what's up because I like using cheat codes in games. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever wanted a cheat code moment, beat the game. And if the game gives you a new game plus, keep all your stuff. That's the closest thing we get to some type of cheat code. But it's all cool. And I'm excited to play the new game plus. But the review don't stop here. It keeps going. Follow me at Twitch. Swing on over there. Follow me on YouTube at Mastermind RGTV. And it's been real, man. More full reviews is coming soon. I probably come here and do an Uncharted review, a full Uncharted remastered review for PS5 because it looks amazing also. But I definitely love this game. Overall, 9.5 out of 10. By the time I get done beating it, it'll probably be a 10 out of 10. So, yeah, love is love, man. I appreciate y'all. And peace. Game on, people. We out.